Okay, let's do a little with a band. Okay, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna tip this down just a little bit. Okay. Okay, little bit of swish, tiny bit of swish. So hands behind, I'm starting with my hands to the side, just letting the knees slowly tip to one side. And center and the other side. So you get a little bit of glutes, back glutes, outer glutes, shoulders, right shoulder, the legs moving away from that back shoulder, even the back leg, that internal rotation. A little bit less emphasis on the external rotation. And then let's turn the hands maybe towards the back of the room. Just a different rotation in the arm, different impact on the shoulder. Let's pause for a moment with both legs to one side and then let the back leg lift and lower. Just getting that, creating length in the inner thigh and engagement in the inner thigh. You can let the foot roll, or you can flex the foot, which is what I was doing before, or you can lift up onto the ball of the foot. And then let's go up and over to the other side. I'm sliding. And same thing, back leg is going to lift and lower. Again, you can relax the foot and let the foot roll. Just seeing how the hip, knee, ankle respond with a little less structure. And then flexing the foot, creating more structure, less rotation in the other joints other than the hip. And then you can even lift onto the ball of the foot. They're all a little different. Again, lengthening and engaging inner leg and outer leg. Good, and then a little sweep both sides, just noticing what has changed. Even turn the hands towards the body. Getting that little stretch as well. Good. Good. Okay, and then I'm going to turn towards one leg. And so I'm just going to pause here and maybe let that back hip lift and lower, right, as I turn towards the front knee and back, letting those sits bones come towards the floor, and then letting one lift as it lifts and turns towards the opposite knee. Good, couple more like this. Good. Okay, and then let's just play with straightening. So I'm going to let myself kind of fall towards the bent knee, let that back leg straighten a little, and then bring it back in. Same thing, so I'm lifting and turning towards the bent knee, letting the back leg straight. So it's kind of like being in a pigeon pose on my side, a little bit on the side. And then bend the knee and let that sitting bone come back towards the floor. A couple more times. Just playing with getting that front thigh and inner thigh to lengthen a little. And then I'm going to play with turning, same thing, turning towards the opposite knee, back hip turning towards the front knee, extend the leg, a little more of a pigeon. And then I'm going to roll that sitting bone towards the floor. So a little bit more of a, called a Janu Shirshasana or half straddle. And I'm just going to let that leg roll in, turning towards the top of the thigh. And then roll out, turning to the back of the thigh. Just again, getting a little quiet opening in the inner thighs. Last one like this. Good. Straight leg. Let's just do a little tip. If that's enough, you can keep the arms reaching away from each other. Let's actually start with that, and then tipping towards that bent leg. Both sitting bones heavy. Tipping towards that straight leg. Again, if it feels appropriate, take that top arm up and over and add a little bit more weight to the straight leg. And then tipping towards that bent leg. Good, tipping towards the straight leg. Good, tipping towards that bent leg. And straight leg. Good, and then coming back. I'm just going to turn towards the bent knee, bend the straight leg. And let's just flip up and over to the other side. Maybe even just do a couple sweeps side to side, just noticing the difference in the legs. I'm feeling a lot more ease in that leg that we just straightened. And then coming towards the opposite leg, right, in our little V-sit. And then again, back hip, right, or externally rotated leg becomes the front leg, internally rotated leg, lifting and turning towards that leg, towards that externally rotated knee. And just feeling the difference in the movement in the inner thigh, front thigh, back hip, even the outer hip side waist, right? Because we're definitely engaging and lengthening the different parts of the body, outer hip, inner thigh. Good. And then next time as I turn towards that front knee, I'm going to let that back leg straighten a little. And you can even tip away from the leg if that helps. And then come back. This side is a lot more tight than the other side. Extend as you turn towards, right? Like a pigeon tipped on its side. And bend. Good, nice and slow, noticing what feels different. Where is the feeling different on this side than the other side, or the ease in movement, or less ease in movement. Good, a couple more. Good. And then let's stay with that back leg straight, right? And I'm gonna externally rotate that leg, turning towards the back of the leg. And then reversing that, turning almost across the inner thigh towards that front inner leg, front inner knee, and then back to the back of the leg. And to the front, and to the back. Good, noticing sacral area, outer hips, front thigh, groin. This side just feels very different altogether than the other side for me. Good, last one. Good, pausing here, always blankets if you need. I'm just gonna tip towards the straight leg. And then tip towards the bent leg. And straight leg. And bent leg. And straight leg. And bent leg. Good. Again, just noticing the breath, sensation change, density. Last time. Good, and then I'm going to turn towards the bent knee, let the straight leg bend, hands behind. And again, just a little split side to side. Ah, totally different. Okay, let's come on to our backs. I'm just going to have that band available, but it's off to the side. Let's just straighten the legs for a moment. Palms closest to the body. Good, let's pick one leg, turning that leg in and out. I'm also letting the leg be heavy. So there's that sense of rolling. Heavy heel, heavy calf. If the thigh meets the floor, heavy thigh, or rolling thigh, and buttocks. Is it easier to turn in or out? Or the thigh, the knee, the ankle, and the foot somewhat even, or is one place stickier? And then pause, and let's do the other leg. Just a heavy roll. Heel, calf, thigh, butt. And notice where there's more sensation or less or density. You feel like you have to push, see if you can back off a little. Let more breath come in. And pause. And let's let the head roll a little, one side. Slow center, other side. Same thing. What are you noticing? Sensation, movement, density. What's happening in the shoulders or upper back? Back of neck, sides of neck, throat. Coming back to center. Good, and let's bend knees. So hips are going to stay pretty heavy. I'm going to let the right leg, feet somewhat sitting bone distance apart. Right leg is going to start to tip to the side. And I'm going to let the leg tip only as far as I can go without tipping the pelvis. And it doesn't have to be the fullest range of movement. Right? Even noticing sometimes a little bit of movement pulls the pelvis. And coming back up to center again, heavy pelvis, heavy ribs, heavy feet. As the right knee tips to the side. And slowly back to center. And you'll feel little weight shifts. Can you let that left side stay heavy? Good. One more time, knee tipping right. And let the knee go as far as it can. Nice and slow. And then I'm going to let the pelvis turn. Maybe even put a little weight into that left foot and let the pelvis turn so that right outer leg is closer to the floor. And then slowly let the pelvis roll away from that right thigh. Bringing left hip towards the floor. And then letting that right leg follow. And so just isolating movements. Pelvis heavy again. Right side, left thigh heavy. Right leg tips out to the side. Good. Going as far as you can without tipping the pelvis, just to feel that separation. And then letting the pelvis tip. Even put a little bit of weight into that left foot. Good, and again, letting that pelvis tip back to the left, right thigh heavy. Good, and then slowly right leg back up. Heavy hips, heavy thighs, heavy ribs. Good, one more time, right leg tipping to the right. And seeing how far it can go without tipping the pelvis. And then letting the pelvis tip. A little weight into that left foot. And then let's play with letting that right leg start to just reach. Maybe it straightens a little bit. Even if it's just halfway. Good, and keeping that leg somewhat straight and letting the pelvis turn away. Good, maybe even letting that straightish right leg slide down below the hip. And then bend and slide the foot up. Let's do one more like that. Right knee tips to the right. Letting it go as far as it can go without tipping the pelvis. And then letting the pelvis tip, putting weight into that left foot. Again, slowly straighten that right leg. And then sliding, or first tipping the pelvis back towards the center as that right leg slides down. Then the leg as you slide up, feet together. Let's just actually extend both legs for a moment just to feel the difference in the two legs. Right side, left side. Inner leg, front leg, back leg. What else? Maybe softening hips, ribs. And bending legs. Heavy hips. Let's take that left leg now and tip it to the left. And slowly back to center. Good, noticing the rest of the body. Let's just do a couple more times like that. Tipping the left knee out to the side, not the pelvis yet. And slowly back to center. And slowly out to the side. And slowly, slowly center. Good. And then letting the leg tip. Find that end range and then letting the pelvis roll. Roll to the left, little weight into the right foot. And then let the pelvis roll back. And the left leg follow. And do that again. Left leg out to the left. Again, keeping the pelvis heavy to start. And then letting the pelvis follow. A little weight in the right foot and then letting the pelvis roll away from the heaviness of the thigh. And then letting that left thigh follow. Good, one more like that. Tip. Roll when you're ready. Good, rolling back. And lift. Good, one more. Tip. Well, different. Tip, lay out to the side. And I'm going to again tip the pelvis to the left so that left hip and outer thigh on the floor, and then extend that leg. It doesn't have to be all the way straight. You can point, you can flex, it can be quasi. And then slowly roll the hips back, which pulls that straight leg down below the hips. And then letting the foot slide as the knee bends. And one more like that. Tip. Pelvis rolls, a little weight in that right foot. Extending that left leg. The pelvis rolling back to center, left leg sliding down. And knee bending. Let's do one more, just as we can. Tip, roll, extend, slide. Good, and then let's just extend the other leg. Two straight legs, arms somewhat close to the body. Good, and then bending the knees. Good, arms out to the side of the body. Good, and let's just try these little higher energy for Tuesday, but I'm just gonna try one or two of these. So same thing, right leg to the right. We're gonna start with the right leg, right knee tips to the right, pelvis rolls to the right, that little bit of weight in the left foot. Again, I'm gonna extend that left leg, or sorry, that right leg a little. Doesn't have to be all the way straight. And as the pelvis rolls back to center, the legs slide down. But I am going to let that left knee tip to the left now, and the right leg sweep around the left leg. And you get to decide, does it stay straight? Does it bend? Just a slow trace around to the left, maybe towards the left hand, or just with the knee bent, that left knee lifting towards the left arm, or right knee lifting towards the left arm. And then slowly trace back around that left leg, down below the hips. Bend the knees, slide the foot. Come back to where we started. Other side. Left knee is going to tip out to the side. Pelvis is going to roll to the left, weight into that right foot. Left leg extends, doesn't have to be all the way. Pelvis rolls back to center, drawing that left leg down. Good. Now moving the other side. So right leg tips to the right, drawing that straightish left leg around the right leg. Again, you can bend the knee and just lift that left knee to the right arm, or you can keep the leg somewhat straight. And then retrace around the right leg with that left leg. Right knee lifts, slide that left foot, left knee lifts. And back where we started. Good, let's do the same thing one more time. Right knee tips. Pelvis tips. Left foot heavy. Right leg extends along the floor to the right. Pelvis rolls back to center. Like letting the heavy pelvis fall away from the heavy leg. Right leg slides down and then slides around as that left leg falls to the left. Again, that right leg can be bent-ish. It slides around the left leg and up towards the left arm. And then retrace. Back to that center line. Bend that right knee, slide the foot up. Pause, breathe, notice. Other side, left knee tips. Pelvis tips. Right foot presses. Left leg extends. Pelvis rolls back away from that heavy leg. Heavy pelvis away from heavy leg. I'm drawing my left leg down and under my hips, and then the right leg tips, tipping the pelvis to the right, drawing that left leg around to the right. And then retrace your steps. And bend. Good. Let's just take feet together and knees apart. Ribs heavy, waist heavy. Breath slightly longer. Longer inhale, longer exhale. Good, and slowly draw the knees up, and let's take the feet wide and let the knees drop together. Good, notice if the inner thighs are still active. Right? Ideally, we want to find a little more stretch through the outer leg, which means the inner leg will engage a little bit more. See if you can soften both. Good. And then knees up. Last thing, again, quite a bit for a Tuesday, but let's take right foot up on the band. Straighten the leg. Simple little point and flex. Good. And then let's take both straps into right hand. So similar, left knee's bent, right leg is straight this time. I'm gonna let that right leg tip out to the side. So feeling that right shoulder blade on the floor, the right arm is straight, the right hand has the band. So as the leg tips out to the right, right shoulder blade stays heavy, right hip stays heavy. Again, at a certain point, you can let the pelvis tip. So I'm rolling on the pelvis, on the shoulder, left foot still heavy. Good, and then pelvis rolls back to center, right leg lifts. Back to center. Switch hands. And let's start with that left foot flat, the left knee still up, and that right leg just coming across to the left. So we're getting that long line of the outer leg from outer foot to outer hip. And you can even play with turning that right foot towards the right side of the room, as if you could turn the sole of the foot to the right side of the room and towards the left side of the room. It's a little bit more, can be a little bit more nervy as we're hitting nerve lines. And letting that left knee cross to the right as that right leg crosses to the left. Again, doesn't have to be your biggest stretch. See what can soften. And then come back through the center. And let's bring that right foot down. Hips heavy, feet heavy. Let's do that other side, left foot up on your band. Point and flex. These are sometimes more nerve stretches than anything. Good, and then take both straps into that left hand. Again, left shoulder blade heavy, left arm straight, left hip heavy. Left leg tips out to the side. Keeping that shoulder blade and hip heavy. And then again, at a certain point, pelvis following. So right foot, you can put a little weight into that foot, coming back into this shape. So we're getting a little bit of that front thigh, the grounded leg. And then letting the pelvis roll back to center, away from that straight leg. And then the left leg follows. At the center, switch hands. Again, it's not as big or bold of a movement, but left leg across to the right, left hip still heavy. With a little bit of movement through that left foot, sweeping the sole of the foot to the left and to the right. And maybe even the right leg crossing behind that left leg to the left. Just to widen the back of the pelvis. Get a little bit of a sciatic nerve stretch, so easier, softer. Less can be better, less can be more. Good, and then leg back to center. Good, slip the foot out. One more time, feet together, knees apart. Okay. And then bringing the knees up. Okay. All right, let's just do a couple knee drops. So arms out to the side, knees tipping to one side. And letting the ribs stay low, especially those lower ribs. Head can go same direction as the knees or opposite. The back foot can have a little weight, again, just to get into the front hip, front thigh. With the back leg. And nice and easy. And one more each side. Noticing your breath, noticing your weight, notice how your body moves against the floor. The shape, the places that feel more dense, less dense. Letting your feet roll, your head roll. And coming back to center. And let's just take a couple minutes and slide, right? Maybe just roll to your side, slide a little bit closer to a wall or a bed, chair. Even grab a blanket. You can have your legs more vertical or less vertical. Let's just take a few moments with the legs up the wall. Good. Once your hips are weighted, maybe lift your ribs and walk them away just to let that lower back waist widen. Maybe even just feeling how the whole spine lays on the floor from tailbone in the back of the pelvis, lumbar, lower rib cage, middle rib cage, upper base of neck, upper neck. With that whole line, noticing the places that just feel more structured and the places that feel more, they can soften more easily. Maybe even noticing a sense of more fullness on one side of the ribs. It's almost like water, letting the breath get heavier, right? Almost gravitating towards the back of the body. Letting the face get soft, the lips, cheeks, the throat. Chest, the belly. To bend the knees. But maybe even bring your right ankle to your left thigh and just do a little sweep side to side. And just super simple. Slow. Again, letting your back stay heavy, upper back, lower back, back of waist. And then switch, right foot on the wall or bed, switching the legs. Again, just this little easy movement, easy rotation. Maybe even the head gets involved. Maybe it's less about finding more rotation and just softening what is. And then letting both knees come into your chest. If you're up on a blanket, sometimes it just lets the knees fall towards the chest. You can use your hands or not use your hands. The knees can go wide, softening belly, softening lower back, front thighs, front hip, back hip, sitting bone area. Can even play with just a loose, happy baby, very loose. Holding the feet, ankles or shins. Release the feet, maybe let the legs straighten or straighten-ish. Maybe take the legs wide-ish. And bending your knees. Just a simple rolling to your side. And pause. And then rolling up to sit. And pause. And finding your seat. And after your next exhale, inhale slowly. Slight pause at the top of the inhale. And exhale slowly. And slight pause at the bottom of the exhale. And inhale slowly. Slight pause and exhale. And pause. Inhale. Pause. And exhale. Relax the breath. And one hand on heart, one hand on belly. And let's inhale. Well, in a moment, for an Om. Just letting the vibration move through your body and out into the world wherever feels drawn or wherever you feel like you would like to direct it. Inhale. Namaste.